Welcome, welcome. I am Leon Francis. This is BlackBeardLogic on the Guns in the 701 network. And I'm happy to be with you good folks. It's a beautiful Friday. Many of you guys may believe that this is hot weather, but your boy is from the South. So to me, this is not hot weather. This is ideal weather, and it's pretty great from where I'm sitting anyway. Today we're going to talk about something. The entire first hour, this disturbing trend that I've been seeing with AI, with data centers, with flock cameras. We're going to focus in this week on the whole flock cameras. And then in the second hour, I'm going to have my good friend Alex Balazs. I wanted to kind of do a long form interview with Alex because I hadn't really seen that. I've seen him like here and there all over, and really great interviews. But I just wanted to sit down, pick his brain for an hour so you guys understand the man that Alex Balazs is. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be in the second hour. That will be in the 7 o'clock hour. Here, give me 2 seconds here. What I'm going to do now is we're going to talk about something that's been just cheesing my grits for quite some time. And I titled this, What the Flock? You know, you look at old George Orwell there. He's got 2026 there, the whole thing. What the flock is going on? And I was talking to my wife the other day, and I remember, like, it must be 20 years ago now, in Kansas City. We were living in Kansas City, and there was this new technology that police officers were going to be using, but it was car mounted. And what it did was it was the precursor to flock. And this all ties in, so bear with me. It was the precursor to Flock. Now, what this technology did was it would read your license plate. A police officer would just sit in his car, um, busy downtown or busy intersection, and this technology would grab your license plate number. It would read it, and it would tell them if the car was properly registered, or if the owner of that license plate or that car, had warrants. It would, if your registration was up to date, like all this information. And I remember there being just a huge backlash to that. And I know that folks were all over the radio and TV talking about it. This was 20 years ago. 20 years ago. But what I've been seeing, especially here lately, given the rise of all this technology, and this is the thing that scares me. We're going to talk about Flock, but we're also going to talk about the integration of networks. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, and before I dig into this, I want to let you know one other thing. I've been having issues with Facebook. And I haven't talked to Clay or Vance or David about this, but um, what I think I'm going to start doing is, because I posted it just a bit ago, the July 4th coverage of the White House Independence Day celebration gave me a strike. They struck my page. So I'm not even sure if you could see me doing this live stream on Facebook right now. But if you can, like, I disputed it and all of that good stuff. But it's telling me that I won't be able to, like, monetize or live stream or do a number of different things, until I think next month or something like that. And it kind of defeats the purpose. So what I think I'm going to start doing is I'm going to still do the shows, but I don't think I'm going to live stream on Facebook. What I'll do instead is on all of the other channels that are not fascist in nature. On all my other channels, I'm going to do the live stream, and then I will only do clips pointing to our landing page going forward on Facebook. And I have we talked about this last week, or well, 2 weeks ago. We talked about this. I already reached 1.5 million views this year, since January, and I'm on track for that to be at least 3 million. And it seems to me like they're trying to slow me down. I'm not going to allow it. I'm going to regroup and adapt. And I think that's what I'm going to start doing. Instead of doing live streams that I have to fight and I have to, I'm not going to do that. Like they hit my BlackBeardLogic page hard. Like when I look at my analytics, it's the only one with the red dot, and my other pages have the yellow. You know how it goes. But who needs that aggravation when I can just put uh, like a minute, 2 minute clips on there, and then point you guys to our landing page, which is Guns of the 701 network. That landing page, or Spotify. I like Spotify. I'm a Spotify guy, or YouTube or Rumble or some one of those other pages that are a lot more friendly to content creators like myself. So I think that's going forward, and I'm going to run that by Clay and Vance and the guys, and see if we can do something about that. I mean, and again, Facebook is my biggest footprint, and I probably should have diversified a little bit better instead of like putting all my eggs in the whole Facebook basket. So I haven't built out those other platforms as big as Facebook. It is my biggest platform. So going forward, I think that's going to be my strategy. I'll let you guys know before I do that. But what what I want to talk about today is, You know, on Clay's show, he starts out with the Second Amendment. So we're going to read the Fourth Amendment today. And the Fourth Amendment says the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. And I want you guys to keep that in mind when we're talking about flock. So, and I'll back this up. I'll give you just a minute or two of my IT background, and you're going to see how this kind of folds into this entire discussion that we're going to have here. So, not so long ago, I was the network administrator slash engineer for UPS, and that was from Pembina down to South Dakota and on the western side of Minnesota, like Detroit Lakes and all of those places, Thief River Falls, every place with a UPS station there. So, and I remember we had a build out, and it was the RFID readers. And so what I would do is I would go into all of these facilities, and I would install all of these RFID readers, like all over the belts, all over the lifts, like everywhere a package was going to go. I would go in there and I would install. Okay, and what this would do is we would put RFID trackers on the packages, especially if it, and there were different types. There were high priority packages, that sort of thing. They'd have a different one. But what it would do is basically when that package got to UPS and we put that thing on, it tracked the package throughout the facility. Not only did it track that package throughout the facility, I installed the RFID readers on the trucks. So once it left the facility and it was on the truck, it was being read by the RFID reader on the truck. When it got to the airport, same thing. I installed the RFID readers in the airport. The one here in well, not here, but in Fargo, the new place in Fargo at Hector, like all of it. And again, what it would do is it would read that thing. And then we got cameras, and I installed the camera. So these are different projects. So the RFID reader alone, it's not that big a deal. You could track a make believe, package to a make believe destination, but you really didn't have eyes on it. And then we put the cameras in. The RFID sensors were tied back to the network. And then we put the cameras in. And so now the cameras are tied into the network that are tied into the RFID readers. So you could literally have a package arrive at UPS, it go in the front door, and you can visually see that package from the time it made it to the UPS location to the time it was put on the truck and it left. And then you could pick that up again when it's coming off the truck and going into the airport and then onto the airplane. Like I had RFID readers everywhere, on the plane, on the tarmac. So every point that package went through UPS hands, it could be tracked. And it not only with the RFID, but with the video. Now, I'm saying that because right now you'll hear a lot of people saying that, well, this isn't that big a deal, the whole flock thing. And what I'm telling you is we're building the infrastructure, the network, where it's a big deal now, but it's going to become an even bigger deal. I mean, picture this. You leave your home. You step into what you believe is still a free country, only to realize you're walking straight into a cage of invisible eyes. I mean, remember this guy. Boom. Flock's safety ALPR cameras have blanketed America like a digital web of control. It's basically Orwell's telescreens brought to life. Every single drive you make is logged. Your license plate, the precise second, your GPS coordinates, and it's captured in photos, videos, and data. Billions of scans of innocent drivers quietly stored in the cloud, searchable for months, they tell us. I'm going to show you this. This is the evolution of Flock. And I want you to check this out. So this is March of 2024. I'm going to roll this back a bit. So March of 2024. You look at America here. And then I'm going to let it roll on. Here we go. And you can see the progression. 2025, it starts going crazy. 2026, look at that. And they're not done. They're not done. Look at this. I'm going to go to the end here because I want you to see this. This is as of July 8th, 2026 here. Can you see that? Blanketed the country in these Flock cameras. All of this data. They sell it as safety. Like I heard the Fargo police say, recovery of stolen cars, Amber Alerts, things like that. But the truth is chilling. Over 99% of this data captures people who have done nothing wrong. You remember this little thing here, our Fourth Amendment. So you're just moving. You're just traveling. You're honest commerce or visitation or just traveling, as you have the absolute freedom to do in this country. You've done nothing wrong. The only thing you've done is you own a car and you're moving. That's it. This thing builds a complete mosaic of your private life without a warrant, without consent, your entire routine, your visits to doctors, to places of worship. And I want you to think about something else. If you are a liberal and you're like watching this to rage against me, I want you to think about this. When you go to protests, these things are tracking you. Think about that. I'm going to play a video later on in this hour showing Anna Kasparian, who is with the Young Turks. I used to couldn't stand her. She's kind of come around a bit, and she's talking about things that liberals might find near and dear. Even the ACLU. I am on the same side on this issue as the ACLU. Let that cook in your noodle for a bit. Like all of your patterns. All of your patterns. I was downtown today, and I hate going downtown Fargo. I just do. Too many cameras for me. Too many of these Flock cameras for me. And the place that I was at, it's going to remain nameless for right now. But as I'm sitting there, and it's close to the bus stop there, the bus station, Matt Bus. And these two guys come walking over, black guy, dreadlocks, I think Indian guy, but I couldn't be sure. They come, they sit down at this place of business patio area, and they just break out a pipe and start smoking something right there. All these cameras. And so I'm waiting for the cop to come or the security guard to come out. Nobody does. As long as I'm watching these guys, no one does. Employees from this business come out of the business, try to avoid the smoke, and go back in. And I'm there for a good 20 minutes just watching them. There's an actual crime happening. But I guarantee you they have my data. They have a picture of my truck. They have a picture of my decals and my bumper stickers and all of that. The difference is those guys are breaking the law, and I am not. My routines from the time I got into Fargo, and I'm going to show you a map that'll show you. It's DFLOC. It's going to show you like where the cameras are. So from the time I get off of the highway into Fargo, they got me. They got me. All of my patterns, if I lived in Fargo, they would have them down. My routines would be down. And think about this. When this system fails, and all systems fail, think about a live feed from a flock camera that, I don't know, police are at a high risk traffic stop or they're responding to a high risk situation, and someone could hack this feed. It's been done before, multiple times. And in my humble opinion, it's not protection. It is what Orwell call a panopticon. And what that is, it's a prison where a central figure can sit there and see into all the cells, see what everyone is doing. It's pervasive surveillance. It makes you hesitate, second guess, self-censor. And remember, when any government claims that this is for your safety, you should run. Given any authority the power to track every citizen is nothing less than digital stalking. And in the wrong hands, this infrastructure becomes a tool of pure evil. There are cases in Georgia where bad cops, use this technology to track their ex-girlfriends, girlfriends with TROs on them, women who they wanted to date. They were stalking them with this technology. Which is, again, why I advocate, and I know everyone can't do it, get out of the cities. And one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this message to you guys is I believe that this crosses party lines. I don't think this is a left and a right, because it doesn't matter who's in power. They have that type of power. It's a type of creeping control. It spreads like a disease, one system, one camera at a time. And did you see how these things are being rolled out? Again, when I was at UPS, we did these things in stages. You know, you have your backbone, you have your network, and you integrate the RFID sensors in there. You integrate the camera system in there. You integrate the alarms system in there. And that UPS's model should not be the model for America. We were built on liberty, not surveillance. We're not China. This is something we need to think about. You're right, Big Brother. And they're doing this in the UK 100%. And in China, you can't get away with anything in China, legal or otherwise, because they have cameras everywhere. They're tracking everything from the phone in your pocket. If you have smart glasses, smart watch, smart anything, your car, smart this, smart that, the internet of everything, like Glenn Beck used to talk about. On its own, it's innocuous. But integrated into a network, that's a problem. That's a problem. Again, those RFID readers at UPS, by themselves, not that big a deal. You integrate them with the cameras and the alarms and all of the other things that make the network run. Make the network a network, then you can track it anywhere. If it falls off the belt, you know exactly where it fell off. You can go right there and say, yep, there it is. If I don't know, Armando picks up a package and shoves it under his shirt, before he gets out the door, the alarm stops him because that package is being tracked. We can see exactly what happened. He's not going anywhere. Think about that, and think about the COVID thing. Think about you trying to get out, I don't know, of the city, or just out of your, say you're in Fargo, you live in an apartment building, that this system is fully integrated, and you just want to leave your apartment, but you haven't had the shot yet. Oof. Oof. And again, this cannot be a thing in the free world. It just can't. I want to show you something here. Here, let's see. How far are we in? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to hit our first commercial, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. I'm going to show you a police officer who was forced out of his job because he did not believe in this whole flock thing. I'm going to show you a lady named Christina Essler, who was falsely accused of stealing packages. And I want you to listen to the police officer that's talking to her. And then I'm going to show you flock.org and show you how pervasive this problem is. And I hope that I have enough time. I want to tie this in to the data centers and AI. Because again, this flock system, it is sucking up a ton of data. But it is hard to crunch this much data and integrate it into videos, into tracking, into all of that. But you know what could do that? AI. And that's why they're building the data centers. It is the network infrastructure needed for all these innocuous little technologies to become the internet of everything, which is not something I'm opposed to entirely. I am opposed to them shoving it down our throats. Did you know? Like in North Dakota, the company that is putting up all these data centers, they make the city officials sign an NDA. So they can't talk about it until you see one popped up in your backyard. You're like, hey, what is that? So no public input. No public anything. Because they have to sign an NDA. Think about that one. When we come back, we'll go to some examples. I am going to go to commercial right now. And we'll be back right after this commercial break. BlackBeardLogic, Leon Francis, Guns in the 701 Network. We'll be right back right after this break.
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon, Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
For the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
Welcome back. Leon Francis, Guns in the 701 Network. This is BlackBeardLogic. Now, I want to get back to this. So, just so you understand, flock safety cameras are scanning up to 20 billion license plates in every single month. That's not a typo. 20 billion. They're popping up on poles in neighborhoods, highways, small towns across the country, and they're quietly logging every car that drives by. They don't just catch the plate. I mentioned that before. They grab the make, the model, the color, faces. All of that data gets dumped into a massive shared network that thousands of police departments can search without a warrant. 30 days of your travel history. And I don't believe that. Just so we're clear, I don't believe that. But the information that I was able to pull said 30 days. Available at the click of a button. Now, layer on AI data centers. Now, those same powerful systems that process everything else are about to be supercharged. This is a surveillance grid that will be supercharged by the data centers that we're popping up right now. And you guys know, I've been against these data centers for quite some time because I understand what they're capable of. I understand the environmental impact that they're going to have. I understand that everybody that's been smiling and talking to us is a liar. They're lying to you. A lot of them don't understand. A lot of them are bought and paid for. A lot of them just want this thing because it's going to make them a lot of money. Imagine every trip you make, every errand, every late night drive, analyzed, patterned, and flagged. It's not crime fighting. It's a nationwide tracking system dressed up as public safety. Think about January 6th. And think about the dragnet that they implemented after that. This will be a cakewalk for AI. Like it took them years to snatch up everyone. And the technology that they have right now is impressive. Once you get AI with this backbone that they're building, forget about it. Minority Report, exactly. Exactly. The Fourth Amendment is supposed to protect us from unreasonable searches. Yet, here we are, letting these cameras violate it 20 billion times a month. I mean, some people are waking up, some cities, they're canceling contracts, they're tearing down the cameras, and those are patriots in my humble opinion. But we can't celebrate Independence Month while Big Brother watches our every move. Flock and AI have become partners in crime. Government surveillance on steroids. If the government wants more cameras, fine. I'll tell you where you can put them. Put them in every government building, every office, every hallway, every conference room, every place where public officials conduct the people's business. I mean, hell, we couldn't even get because of Fedora Check and folks like that. We couldn't even get the list of people that our leaders had to pay off for sexual indiscretion. Why don't we put those cameras there? I want to know if Mitch McConnell is still alive. Let's put one of those cameras in his hotel, his hospital room. And I'll tell you this. If you are a police officer that thinks that Chinese-style dragnet surveillance grid of our local community, that's what Flock is needed to do your job, you should resign. You should resign in shame for going against the fundamentals of freedom that our country was founded on. This is not us. This is not us. The old Tea Party movement was dumping tea into the Potomac. This one might be Sawzall on, fiberglass poles, but I digress. We're going to go to this officer, and I want you to listen to him. It's about a 3-minute clip. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Noel Pacharo. I'm a ex-cop here in the state of Rhode Island. So in 2021, 2022, my city, the city of Pawtucket, the police department I was a part of, along with other departments in my state, started quietly signing contracts with this new technology called Flock Camera. It's a surveillance system company run by a man named Garrett Langley. He's the CEO and founder of that company. Basically, it's a very sophisticated AI software that uses a camera system to track and monitor every vehicle that goes by the camera lens. It doesn't require a violation. It doesn't require any infraction. It only requires movement. That's it. And it records the make, the model, color, bumper stickers, you name it, of the vehicle that goes by every single one of these camera lenses. They're quite discreet. If you don't know what they are, you won't be able to spot them out. They're basically put on utility poles at the main intersections in your city if you have them. So to put it bluntly, if you own a car, you're now being tracked. If I could put it plainly, for committing the sin of going to work. This information is shared city to city and even state to state. without a warrant. There's no legislation governing this technology. Well, specifically referring to my state, which doesn't have any legislation governing this technology, even though it's been in use for about 4 years now. And if you're still watching this video, I'm assuming your temper is starting to flare up because it's probably the first time you're hearing about this, which I think is the worst thing about this, in my opinion, is that you, the American citizen, was never notified about this innovation, nor its implementation. Your consent was never required, nor even asked for, or even thought about when your city government was putting up this new technology. For example, the chief of the Pawtucket Police Department, she was confronted by a local reporter on this very question of what gave them the right to put up these cameras without consulting the public. Her response was, so the criminals wouldn't know about it and avoid detection. So there you go. That's their best argument about why they felt you, the public, had no right to know about this new innovation being put up in your city. The philosophy that this innovation is already grounded on is already proven to be rotten. It's grounded on this idea that you, the citizen, are first and foremost a potential suspect or potential defendant that needs to be tracked and monitored for your safety and for the safety of others. It's the same philosophy that the Soviets and many authoritarian states during the 20th century adopted, and we all know how that worked out for them. It's the same philosophy that the Chinese are currently adopting right now, and they have a similar surveillance system that they're using on their own citizens right now, which is even more egregious. And look, I get it. I want to use the tools that we have in order to capture the guy who steals your mother's car, the guy who's stalking your neighbor's daughter, or one of the guys that shoots and kills one of our young men in our city. I get it. But this isn't the answer. This technology is new, but the philosophy that it's grounded on is nothing new. It's actually quite old. And we've seen it echoed in the worst way throughout the 20th century in Europe, and I don't want it to repeat those same mistakes in our own country. So what do I want? I mean, who cares what I want, I suppose. If you're still watching this video, what do you want? I assume it's the same thing I want, which is to have these cameras taken down or have an intelligent conversation about them at the very least, which wasn't afforded to us before. We were just assumed to submit and go along with whatever our local governments decided. But what do I want right now? What I want right now is very simple. I just want you, the public, to know that these cameras exist and that they were put up without your consent, and I'm going to trust you guys to do the rest with that information. If you're looking to organize with reasonable, level-headed people who want the same things that you do, I suggest that you check out the website below. It's called dflock.org.
So, and that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to check out dflock.org. But do you hear what he said? Now, I told you my story in Kansas City, and that was 20 years ago, give or take, I don't know, 5 years. He's saying it was 4 years ago when the cameras on the poles. But I remember this discussion way back when we lived in Kansas City, me and my wife and my 3 kids. This was a heated topic of discussion back then because it was a brand new technology where they could read your license plate, get all this information, and then pull you over. And clearly that's a Fourth Amendment violation, because they search your car and your information. There was no probable cause for them to do that. Like, this is crazy. And they put this technology out there without your consent and without your knowledge because they didn't want you to know. You see all these shiny new cameras going up all over the place. You see the city workers on top of those poles doing, like, what are they doing up there? They're putting a new red light. No, they're putting these cameras up everywhere. Everywhere. They're putting these cameras up. I want you to see something here. This is, here, give me a sec. This is dflock.org. Why does it look so weird? Give me a second. I'm going to try to make that much bigger. Yeah. Let's go here instead. Yeah, let's do it. Now, I want you to look at this. This is all of the flock cameras in America right here. Look at that. Like, there are some states, like, look at the reddest state, Florida there. Like, it's completely covered. You think you live in a red state, right? Now let's go up to North Dakota. See it up there? You see that bright dot right there? That's Fargo. Look at Grand Forks here. Look at Bismarck. Smaller footprints. And then you go in for this shot. I mean, Minnesota is done anyway, so we're not even going to. But as you scroll in, you see that it's all of these dots. Look at this. All the way, Mapleton has some. West Fargo has a bunch. Prairie Rose has a bunch. Look at this. So from the time you get off the interstate, you don't even have to get off the interstate. Here's 94 right here. This guy's got you. Coming down 94, this guy's got you. That guy's got you. That guy's got you. Like wherever you're going in Fargo, like you can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. Like I said today, I went downtown Fargo today. I'm not going to tell you the route I took, but like when you get on Main, look at this. Like from West Fargo, deep in West Fargo, when you get off the interstate, you're tracked the entire way. Look at that. The entire way you're being tracked. Look at this. You're in Fargo here. The entire way you are being tracked. Look at that. Did you ask for this? How does this grab you? How do you guys feel about this? And again, it's kind of innocuous. Looking at it like that, well, there's a couple of cameras, you know. The problem comes when this thing has an AI backbone. That's a problem. Here's another problem. This is Christina Essler.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Did you hear what that police officer said to her? Here, I'm going to rewind this. Listen to what he says. Let me crank this all the way up.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You cannot get a breath of fresh air without us knowing it. That should chill you. You did just see Fargo, right? You saw that, right?
Chrisana Elzer learned the power of Flock firsthand.
You were in town from a...
First piece of evidence he pulls out is a Flock camera.
11:52 until 12:09. Exactly. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing.
When a Colorado police officer showed up at her door holding Flock snapshots of her truck.
And here's when you left at 12:09. That's when you left town.
To get?
No, to stop at Ridge Trail.
Wait a minute.
And take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't need to be...
I need to know where this is.
The first thing he pulled out on the body cam is that Flock picture, the clear photograph of your car.
But here's your vehicle in the neighborhood many, many times, apparently casing houses, because you just can't drive through for work or visit other businesses. You can only be casing houses.
It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was one...
Did you hear that? Like, this woman is flustered. She's like, wait, what? To be clear, she did not do what this officer is accusing her of. But he is 100% certain. You remember Angela Lip? The grandma who we rousted out of bed Christmas morning or something like that. Like, shuffled her off to jail where she was basically forgotten about because of bad facial recognition software and a horrendous Fargo Police Department. Like this is a nightmare. And the nightmare doesn't stop with this chuckle nut. Just listen to this.
Sure. 100%. It is certain. It is on video. You're obviously welcome to go to court.
Chrisana was charged with stealing a package, but it wasn't her. The porch pirate was somebody else.
Multiple times you tried to show him your video evidence. He didn't want to see it.
No, even when I called him back, he said, that's not my job.
You looked at a time of a crime. You saw my vehicle entering in the flock.
No, what I did was, I did an investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You said this is fact.
I have video evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
The charges were dropped after Chrisana spent weeks trying to get the police chief to look at her evidence. Time-stamped video from her truck and a neighbor's doorbell camera showing she wasn't at the scene of the crime.
What does it say about where we are that you feel you have to have more cameras than the police have in order to make sure you can prove yourself innocent?
It sounds like it flipped the script to you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Without a flock camera, that detective would not have been at her door. By his own admission, he pulled out the flock picture of her car. Do you want to apologize to Chrisana Elzer for what happened to her?
For the police misusing the tools? I don't think that I have to apologize.
He wasn't charged with a crime. He wasn't, I mean, other than being reprimanded for his attitude.
Sure. No, but I would tell you that, like, should I apologize for somebody misusing a tool? I don't think so.
Flock Safety Chief Communications Officer Josh Thomas.
Who's watching the watchers in these cases?
Well, the city council. The city owns the data, so city council would have the appropriate responsibility in that case. Our point of view has always been that it is not Flock's job to police the way police do their work.
This is a problem. This is a problem. Well, one, I have a problem with any man with arms that small, but that's neither here nor there. But it's not his problem. The fact that he throws it back on the police department, that should scare you. These guys have qualified immunity. If they're using this in a way that's untoward, a way that's unconscious, what is your recourse? Like, imagine what this lady went through with her husband. Her husband is like, well, he's got all the evidence right here, hon. You did this. This girl, like, you couldn't, the girl that was running in the picture kind of looks like her, you know? And she's like, wait a minute. Wait, she didn't do it, but she has no idea how to clear her name. And what if she lived in a neighborhood and that neighborhood, the neighbor didn't have a camera that showed her clearly at this place at this time, and it couldn't have been her? Like, the investigator didn't want to hear it. He's got his flock data. That doesn't lie. The police chief didn't want to hear it. And she has to prove her innocence now, which turns our justice system on its head. Because, as we all know, the internet is infallible. One more. This is Anna Kasparian, Young Turks.
The ACLU has brought forth a case against Flock and surfaced multiple issues with the technology. Per the ACLU, Flock tends to also lie to the public about what their technology is capable of doing and what type of government agencies are using their database. For instance, in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Flock had told a city council that they do not create trafficking maps of cars, which was a lie. Yep. The city canceled their Flock contract after their lie was discovered. Flock also told Colorado police that the feds do not have access to their database. No feds.
That's a lie.
That was a lie. Flock has contracts with Homeland Security. Flock straight up lied to a city council in Illinois about their work alongside the ACLU, claiming that they were actually working with the ACLU on their technology. ACLU has never worked with Flock. In fact, they are challenging the company as we speak. There's more. Flock was used by Texas police to track a woman who crossed state lines after having abortion pill complications. So if you happen to live in a state that has effectively banned abortion and you've traveled outside the state in order to obtain the abortion pill, well, they're keeping track of you through Flock's technology.
So, all of the Thomases out there that hate me, you should listen to this. You should look at this, and you should be on the same side. Because you see what she said that there. Now, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Well, I can't say I don't believe because, I believe we are now run by a uniparty, but that's neither here nor there. That's a discussion for another show. But I don't believe. Well, I'm not even going to say that. What I will say is there should never come a point in America where you are tracked like you are a Chinese national. That shouldn't be a thing. Again, I go back to this guy. It's Orwellian. What's going on here? And to the folks, and I know here lately, we've had a lot of good people talking about the data center. As a matter of fact, this Tuesday on Due North Political Podcast, we have a guy on that's pro data centers, and I got a couple of questions for him. Like, I got a couple of questions because I've heard a lot of lies. And again, I am an IT guy. I am a engineer. I build out systems. And what a MDF is, that's your nerve center for your network. That's where everything starts. That's where your switches are. That's where your servers are. That's the nerve ending, the brain of your network is in your MDF. I built MDFs and several IDFs, depending on how big the project is. Like for the UPS airport location, the one out in Fargo at Hector, you have MDF and a couple of IDFs that are way out on the tarmac, connected by fiber. The whole network runs as a unit. The entire network runs as a unit. So everything that's connected to that network is supercharged by how robust the network is. And that's what we're doing. We're rolling out a brand new network where we have all of these IDFs, which are the data centers, that create one, and it's nationwide. It will be one big network, all powered by AI. We have not thought this thing through. We haven't. We haven't even been given the opportunity to think it through. Again, city officials have to sign an NDA. They can't even talk about it until the thing is already pretty much built. That's why the folks up in Horace are having such a hard time. And they're so pissed off. Like, no one is talking to us. And then when they do, it's like Armstrong. They think we're knuckle-dragging troglodytes. I'm not. I'm a tech guy. It's what I do. And I am uncomfortable. Now, this guy that we're going to have on, he is also a tech guy. And I have a feeling he's going to say, well, it doesn't use this much water. I'd like to know how. Because every MDF I've ever built had to be cooled, or you wouldn't have an MDF very long, or an IDF. Thing has to be ventilated. It has to be cooled. We have sensors in there. Once it drops below a certain temperature, like, it's all hands on deck because you'll fry everything in there. Think about that times 1,000,000 with a data center where you have entire the Amazon building that used to be the biggest building footprint in the Fargo area is not as big as this data center. How are you going to cool that without water? And they're going to say it's all internal. No, it's not. It's not. Like, this is a huge conversation that we are not a part of. And the scariest part about it is they're going to do it. This is going to happen. The thing that gives me just a little bit of excitement is I've been seeing tons of video of who I would consider patriots cutting these flock cameras down. Now, I'm not saying to go out there and cut these things down. Don't say you heard Blackbeard tell you that. But we at least need a conversation about what the flock is going on. We're going to hit another break, and when I come back, we're going to have a long-form conversation with my friend Alex Balazs. It's going to be a good one. So you guys hang around for just a bit. Right after this commercial break, Leon Francis, BlackBeardLogic, Guns in the 701 Network. We'll be right back right after this break.
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon, Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
For the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Here, let me get this the way I needed it. Okay, there we go. That should be good. Now, Leon Francis, Guns in the 701. This is BlackBeardLogic, and my guest for this hour is Alex Balazs.
How you doing, Leon?
Gave you some applause there.
I'm loving it.
Good deal. So I want to start with an introduction. So, you have nearly 5 decades of service to our nation, including 25 years in the Air Force, Navy, and the Army as an SERE instructor, followed by senior roles at the State Department across the Middle East, Europe, South America, and our southern border. As a Cando farmer and a homestead owner with deep North Dakota roots and a two-time candidate for Congress who secured the NDGOP endorsement, you've dedicated your life to service and conservative America First values. Today, I want to talk about your background, your key experiences, reflections on recent campaigns, and your insights on pressing national stories from the Middle East development and NATO alliances to the border security. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. Let's begin with your North Dakota story.
Well, thanks a lot, Leon. Well, let me correct a couple things just because we want to keep the record straight. A little over.
Oh man, I got something wrong this quick.
A little over 23 years, and then when I retired from the military, and we don't farm. My grandfather did. What we have is mostly hayland, and the neighbors hay it off for their cattle, and it keeps it really clean. So I wish I had the expertise of some of these farmers around here, but I don't. But we have a little under 600 acres. We're very proud of it. We take really good care of it, keep the weeds off it, and of course it just gives us the country, I guess, out away from city life that we really want,
100%.
Yeah.
So with you, and we kind of spoke about this, but with you living on the farm, and 600 acres is nothing to sneeze at. I'm just going to tell you.
It's just small compared to North Dakota. But, my grandfather homesteaded in about 1899 or so, came up here. I think he was looking for the coldest place in North Dakota to farm, coming from Norway, and homesteaded up here, then successfully stayed all the way through the Depression, got a wife from the East Coast to come back. I think back then they called them housekeepers, but she came out, and they had a family here, 6 brothers, one daughter. My mom, obviously the daughter. That's why I would have been a Svensson, but she's a Balazs. She married my dad, who was a Balazs. This farm is, we're in the original farmhouse, and we didn't tear it down. We just put a nice metal roof on it, fixed the foundation, and it's gorgeous if you're ever out this way. We're about 7 miles from Cando. It is, it historically was a wheat farm, but the ground here is not great at all. It's mostly hay around here, and there is some wheat, but my grandfather raised heavy horses, and there's still evidence of it in the barn, which we're still working on keeping standing because, we don't want to lose that. And it just really ties us to the land, ties us to North Dakota. As most of you know, I retired and came here in 2014. We bought the farm in 2002, 2003 from the family. It still had an outhouse. We started fixing it up when we came back on leave from the government. And then when it was time to leave, this was the natural place to call home.
100%. That outhouse will come in handy when you host events out there.
That's exactly right. There you go. Yep.
Or in-laws.
There you go. Yeah, keep them out there.
Yeah. So let's talk about you serving, what did you say, 23 years?
Yeah, 23 years. Started in the Air Force, transferred to the U.S. Navy on a cross-service transfer. Enlisted men can do that. I was enlisted. I retired as a sergeant first class from the Army, then went from the Navy after about 11 years active or so. I would have been on a ship forever because I was a SEER instructor at the desert base in California. Survival instructor.
What is a SEER instructor?
Yeah, let me go into it a little bit. So I started my career outdoors. I mean, I wanted to be outdoors. I'd been outdoors a lot, and I read a little bit about it. Survival, evasion, resistance, and escape is the Air Force's primary duty. Now, the Navy and the Army and the Marines have schools, but the Air Force controls the training because years and years ago, they offered it to all the services, and the Air Force took it. So they have a primary AFSC or Army Air Force Service Code of survival instructors. So what we do is we get 6 months of training globally in all the different environments so we can live off the land. And then we become instructors and we start carrying crews between 10 and 15 pilots and air crewmen out into the woods. At that time, it was Washington State, up into the mountains for anywhere between 7 and 15 days, and taught them how to live off the land. And then we turned them over to the crews that taught them, we taught them evasion, and then we turned them over to the crews that taught them resistance and escape. in case they ever got captured.
And have you ever thought about like private sector, like teaching certain skills? You know, so I could tell people I have a certain set of skills that make me valuable. You know.
So I have in the past taught some folks different skills, basic survival skills, or some things that they would need to know. I did work in the resistance sector for a while, training students. If you're an aircrew member out there, I was one of the good guys. Just remember that. And we prepared them. Yeah, I think some of the training that I got all the way through the military really prepared me for every job I did in the future. Obviously, it gave me good skills. Now, there's not a whole lot of survival instruction going on in government buildings, State Department, but it does teach you resilience. It teaches you not to give up. It teaches you that, the jobs are going to be hard. You might have some failure. Even these most recent failures, in running for office, it is what it is. You work really hard, you try hard, and then you do an assessment afterwards, a hot wash, and say, what could I have done better?
Yeah, I was going to ask, are those skills transferable? But I think I could.
Yeah, I mean, there are schools out there where guys are still teaching survival or teaching shooting or tactical drills. Not a lot of people want to go out into the outdoors and eat worms and grubs and learn that kind of stuff. But that is a usable skill. There you go.
Call me.
All right. And the basic stuff, like all the kids can start a fire with a metal match. All the grandkids, all the things that I think you need to be able to. I could go out tomorrow with a knife and a metal match, and as long as it wasn't the dead of winter here, do pretty well. Most people with a little bit of training could do the same, as long as you're tough enough just to do it,
Oh yeah, Eli has known how to make a feather stick and use flint since he was probably 5. I got videos of it.
There you go.
Starting fires, and his grandpa called me. He's a Navy guy, and he's like, next time, don't have him do it in the garage. And I'm like,
there you go.
It's North Dakota. It's windy out. I wanted him to have a good experience, and he did.
Yeah. Yeah. I get my wife's. I watch those survival shows on TV, and I'm constantly critiquing the guys using the metal match or the flint stick. I'm like, come on, guys. There's 1,000 ways to do that better. You're killing me here.
100%.
Yeah. But it was good. I tell you, I wouldn't trade it for anything. That military service, transferred into the Navy, and then I went back east. I was working. I went to work for the State Department, and then I wasn't going to be in the service. I thought I couldn't, and the guys there said, "Hey, we got a reserve group right here." So I had never even considered it. Went down the next month, joined the reserves, and I probably deployed more in the reserves over the next 10 years in the 90s than I had before that, because Bosnia was going on, all kind of wars were going on, and they needed us all the time. So in all of those deployments, can you share any of those experiences with us? Sure. I mean, we deployed early on to Bosnia when they needed troops over there when they were just stabilizing. If you guys remember, in the 94, 95 time period, when it was really bad, when there were a lot of mass graves, when they were, that's when they had just kind of started to kill each other off and separate bodies out of the cemeteries. Before that, Tito had made them bury together in the cemeteries, right? But then the Muslims would dig their people up, the Christians would dig their people up. They had all the burials in the Olympic Coliseum there at Sarajevo, and just a ton of trench war fighting, and it just got really bad because Tito kept the lid on it forever, right? He made them keep mosques and churches right across the street. So we were there early on. It wasn't a great place to be. There was arguably, depending on who you listen to, around 7 million mines had been placed. We were lucky; we didn't hit any. Some people did. We got really good at asking where they were, and most of the people knew. But some units had a history of giving 12 mines to villagers and just having them placing them with no mine maps. So once those villagers were gone or killed, you didn't know where stuff was. So there's a lot of mess over there still. But learned a lot on those deployments. Came back, deployed again. Let's see, we deployed when they built the runways in Qatar to support those things, because there were no runways to start with. They're small runways at Al Udeid. Let's see, multiple times to Panama for training exercises. As a senior NCO, they kind of call you and say, can you run a training exercise? And you kind of just take care of the crews and make sure the coffee's made. I mean, it doesn't sound really luxurious. I did have a job one time where we had a big satellite transmission tower dish that got set up, and I had to sign for it. I don't know, it was worth $500,000 or something. I never could have paid it off. But every morning we had to power it down and go out and climb up and get the sloths off it, because they would, I don't know why, but they like to climb up on it. And I don't know if you've ever taken a sloth off something, but they got a grip like iron, you know? So,
well, I got a younger brother that used to have to pull off my couch every day and make go to work. So
there you go.
I don't know if that's comparable.
I think it's about the same, yeah. So a lot of basic stuff, you know. There's really boring times in the military. There's real exciting times. I mean, I wouldn't want to do some of the stuff over again. But the camaraderie, some of the people I worked with, and I've said this before on the campaign trail, you know, I worked with heroes. I did, you know, I'm nothing special out there. I just did my time, but I worked with men who are absolute heroes, and it's just amazing the kind of people quality we have out there working.
Have you worked on our southern border before?
Yeah, no. So when I went to the State Department, I started out. Quick synopsis. A lot of guys have heard this. If you've heard it, I went to Bolivia I went to Washington D.C. first and worked projects, and then I was gone all the time, either deploying for the reserves or deploying TDY, temporary duty, with state to do a project or help out at an embassy. And finally, I was supposed to see my family and talk to my wife about it. And we took a commission overseas at an embassy as a third secretary, and that's where you start. And went to Bolivia first. Then we went to The Hague, then to Islamabad, Pakistan, then back to Nicaragua, and then up to the southern border. And that's where I spent, before I went back to Washington, I spent almost 3 years at the southern border there as a kind of a coordinator between all the different groups. There were 17 different, this is obviously, you know, the 17 intelligence groups, right? Or they call them that, but just because they create intelligence doesn't really make them an intelligence group. But everybody from DEA to the FBI to Texas Rangers were working that border. We had 100,000 people a year crossing it. We thought it was the crisis. I mean, we thought it was war. We worked day and night. We got
100,000 a year.
Yeah, a year. I know, big deal, right? We thought that was big. But I'll tell you what, we didn't have a border wall. We had 3 strands of wire in a lot of places, and that was it. In some places, nothing. You could walk across. Still you can, I guess, right? Until that wall gets built. And thank God we're doing that. But yeah, I learned a ton working with those folks. Excellent people. I mean, they do their job every single day. Border Patrol, those guys are out there busting their butts, keeping it safe, and even more so now that they're really doing their job again since Biden's out in office. So, and then came back up with a really good understanding about that, back to Washington to finish up where I worked on a personal recovery unit, trying to recover Americans that had been either illegally detained, you know, because the State Department gets involved in that, or held overseas, or missing, or they go to jail because of some infraction that makes no sense to us, but the other country is going to hold them. Yeah.
Yeah. You say you work with a lot of heroes, man. You got a resume that kind of says hero, dude.
Well, thanks for saying that. I think that I just feel like that service was important. You know, I'll do it again in a heartbeat. It's humbling to work with folks and to see what you get working with people that need a little bit of help, or really putting America first. Like in the embassy, and I didn't get a lot of chance to talk. Well, we talked with a lot of folks on the trail this time, but with the general audience in North Dakota, you know, every time you meet with liaison, which is a foreign government, or anybody else, you're always putting America first. You don't go into the meetings and go like, oh, what's the best thing for you? You know, you're going into it with objectives for America, what you need to get out of it, what you're trying to get that country to do, and you're trying to get them to do it for you. So America's going to be first. And, you know, as a working body, I'm telling you, there's no negotiation on that. We have our marching orders, and we put America first. We get our goals done.
So with that mindset in mind, looking at the whole Iran deal now, like I heard Trump, I think it was this week, he says, you know, basically, I'm done with those guys. You know, they're a bunch of idiots. They're you can't trust anything that they say. They're liars. You know, that sort of thing. And then you have the mainstream media. They're the way they go on and on about how they extol the virtues of Iran and that whole thing. And then you got the supreme leader That whole thing. You got Americans going over there saying, death to America. Like it's to me. I look at something like that, and I'm not a guy like you that's like worked that whole diplomatic and the military angle. So you've been kind of on both ends of that. How do you see like this current situation in Iran?
Well, I spoke some about this before, and it's been a good 3 months since I talked about this, but I talked about it with I think Steve on the radio. But the bottom line is that there are Persians and Iranians, good people. I mean, they just want to live over there. We don't have a battle with them really. They were so much like us. It was really some of the most conservative and normal people you can imagine, because there's a lot of Christians over there, a good percentage of them, almost 35% of that country. So let's say that you have 70, 80 million, I don't know what the real number is, of just Iranians, Persians, and then you have this couple million layered on top of them, the mullahs and the Ayatollah, and just oppressing them. That's the bottom line. I mean, that regime is oppressive, and anywhere in the world we've seen these oppressive regimes, and it is not the people. Now, so let's break this apart a little bit. Let's break it down. We've all gone through this thing about them getting a nuclear weapon. It's not the people of Iran, but yes, the regime wanted a nuclear weapon. All those things that were going on. But the reality is that they negotiate to stall, and that's the bottom line. And I think I kind of wish that there was better people around President Trump to just get that through, because I think in one part, President Trump is a real believer in that, if I do just enough, I can get these guys to capitulate and come to the table, and they'll see what's right. But that's not how it works in their head. It just isn't. I've been in the Middle East a bunch of times. I mean, done a lot of service there, and that's not how they think. They have one objective, and they're not going to back off. So if you look at the 80-83 time frame, when we had sunk multiple ships, we had attacked a couple oil platforms, we had done a lot of damage. We finally got them to capitulate after really a lot of strikes. But you're talking about 17 plus 25, almost 40 years, 50 years later of them to build up wealth and the ballistic missiles and a hardened ideology, and someone's telling them they can make it all the way and they shouldn't give in. Yeah, they're not going to give in. And there's another piece here. They're not going to give in because the Iranian people are going to kill every single one of them. We, as Americans, it is so bad for them. It is so terrible. We can't even understand how badly they're treated. So to think that they're just going to put their hands up and the Iranian people are going to say, okay, it's done. You had your turn. That regime is fighting for their life. That's the bottom line. So they can't just roll over. So it's going to have to happen. And I do think we need to keep the diplomatic door open. We always should see if we can solve it that way. But the reality is that that regime is going to have to be taken out. As you can see, we're back there again because they don't care to negotiate. They just want to fight and get their way. And I'm sorry it's that way, but that's the reality. You can talk to a lot of professors about it, but I've seen it too many times, and they're not gonna agree to capitulate.
What do you think about? And a guy like me, I'm just a lay guy. I'm a dumb IT guy,
Well, what do I know?
But I see like the oil. The second, there was an inkling that we were going to go over there. Oil, gas prices skyrocketed. I remember under Trump's first administration, gas prices coming down. We had the whole national supply going up. The Bakken was booming. Like everything was going great. And then this happens over there. And it makes me think why we were at one point under the Trump administration, the first one, we were like energy independent.
Right.
Like, explain to me, like I'm two, how we could go from that to this and how that affects North Dakota, especially when we have like such a prominent footprint on the global scale when it comes to like energy. Explain that.
Yeah, and I don't think there's really a good explanation for it. I mean, speculation is what drives this, right? And I worked for an oil company for about a year, and they love speculation on it. Every time anything bumped, they made money, right? But the reality is that while we are energy independent, we aren't truly able to take every single thing we do and refine every single bit of it in all of the different commodities we need. But on top of that, the rest of the world affects us because they're not getting their oil and prices go up around the world. So if you want to stop that, I mean, the quickest way is to get this thing settled down and get that all moving so everybody else relaxes out there. But they know that, and they like giving us this pain, especially because I said this earlier, not here, but in another show. Early what should have happened is Congress should have agreed to an authorized use of military force. They should have voted together to show the world that we were standing strong together, because that sends a message. Every single time that we stand together, it shortens a conflict. Every time that we stand apart, and they find a crack, then they tell their people, hey, the Americans aren't together and we can win this thing. And it just drags things on. And I can tell you from being a soldier overseas, I loved it when all Americans were behind us, because we were unstoppable, because the opposition said, oh man, we're done. If the country's behind them, it doesn't matter what force is in front of us, the country's behind them. So yeah, there's not a direct correlation between the price. It is the speculation. And that's, look, we're all going to face that. It's a little bit of pain, but I will say this. Somebody needs to be there talking to them, and it is not our current congressional representative. And honestly, it's not even our senators who need to be telling them from experience what to expect there. Somebody needs to say, look, these guys are not going to negotiate. You're going to have to do this. Give me the plan from day one of what we're going to do here. Because, now I'm not saying we need endless wars, and I don't want boots on the ground. So if you're out there listening, you need to hear that. But there's a way to fight this. You knew this was coming once you went into this, if you understand their mindset. You knew there wasn't going to be a few short strikes or even 1,000 strikes, and then they're going to put their hands up. These guys, they want to fight to the death, and they want our death. So
yeah. So I'm going to ask you one more question, and then we're going to go to break, and then I want to come back and I want to talk to you about your transition to politics.
Yeah.
That whole thing. But I want to ask you this. So your last name is Balazs.
Yep.
So what is that?
So Hungarian. So my mom left the farm when she was, I think, 14 or 15 and walked off because they're pretty hungry. The rumor is she went to California first and then ended up on the East Coast working. Met my father. They finally settled in Wisconsin. And then, of course, my dad loved the farm, right? So my Uncle Pete was in charge of the farm then. He would bring us up every summer we stayed here. And I'm not sure my mom loved it so much, but she came. So that's how I got Balazs, and I get a double benefit of a thick Norwegian skull and a thick Hungarian skull. So
So 2 points here. One, when I first showed my wife this farm that we're on, I thought she was going to murder me. I said, this is where we're going to live, and she's like, "You have got to be kidding me."
There's February. Cindy says the same thing to me. She's like, "What in the heck are we doing here?" Yeah.
The second thing is, so you got Hungarian, you got Norwegian, but I heard that you speak fluent Spanish.
Yeah, I learned Spanish to go to Bolivia. I had to learn it. It was a requirement. I tell you what, I studied day and night. It took me 4 months to get up to speed on it. I knew a little bit, but
I can't even speak 8-year-old. Like my 8-year-old runs around here, and I have to look at his mom and go, "What did he say?" And
it's kind of embarrassing for me because Cindy speaks about 4 or 5 languages. My daughter speaks 3.
Wow.
And the kids all speak a little bit of Spanish and German. I don't know where the German's from, but anyway, yeah. So.
Wow, I speak Cajun French, and it's very bad. It's from my New Orleans upbringing, but anyway.
There you go.
So we're going to go to break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about your what are we going to call it? Your reemergence.
Great.
As a political figure in North Dakota. So, Leon Francis, Alex Balazs, Guns in the 701 Network. This is BlackBeardLogic. We'll be right back right after this break.
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just 1 block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon, Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
For the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
Welcome back. Leon Francis, Guns of the 701. This is BlackBeardLogic, and my guest tonight is Alex Balazs. And before we get into this next segment, just want to remind folks that you may not be seeing me on BlackBeardLogic, Facebook, or even on my personal page because I received a couple of strikes because we live streamed the White House Independence Day celebration, and apparently Facebook says that there were dangerous weapons or something to that effect. That is just absolutely crazy. I did dispute it. I'm hoping to get a good response on that, but as it stands now, I can't live stream on the BlackBeardLogic page. They restricted my reach, like just a bunch of things. I put it on my personal page, what they said. And going forward, what I think I'm going to do is on all the other platforms, I'm going to do the live stream, and just on Facebook, I'm going to do clips. I'm going to clip, pertinent parts of the show, and then direct you to the video landing page. I'm a big Spotify guy. We have the Guns in the 701 page, and you guys can go there and view it without the Facebook censoring and the shadow banning and all of that. Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, all of that. So in the coming episodes, I think I'm going to transition to that instead of this. And it hurts because, again, this year I had 1,000,005 since January views. And that's nothing to sneeze at for a country boy like me, and I just started this thing and projected to be 3 million by the end of the year. And I can only do that if I'm not shadow banned into the dark ages with these guys. So me and Clay, we're gonna have a discussion about it, but just keep that in mind. You know, I don't know. I'm kicking that around right now. What do you do, Alex? I mean,
yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that just I watched that. I didn't see anything on that celebration that was. I can't even understand that. That's a mystery to me. I mean, that just sounds like a reason somebody picked down air just to to kick you off for a little bit.
Yeah, it cheeses my grits, as my Southern grandma used to say.
There you go. Yeah. So I mean, so can I even mention can I quote Mike Fedorchak, what he called conservative voters in North Dakota?
Oh, good gravy! What?
So it's not an expletive. He said that we were terrorists, and he posted it. So I mean, like, he doesn't get pulled down for that. He gets to say that, and I consider that the Fedorchak campaign because Mike works on our campaign. So
are you serious?
To say that? Yeah. Yeah, I've got it. I mean, I can cut and paste to you sometime. I mean, I was surprised he said it, but that's just him. I don't know, lack of education, maybe just maturity, whatever. I mean, that's what you get from a lobbyist who works for a defense contractor in Washington who's married to a congressional representative. You all know that he's a lobbyist, right? And he works for defense industry.
Oh,
yeah. And at the same time, she votes on the defense bill. But that's okay, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, North Dakota. So we'll talk more about that. Yeah.
And he's a girly man. I saw him in pink. But anyway, let's
yeah. So when a couple years ago, when we first looked at it, I joke and say that, Cindy was going to go be a delegate at the convention. And I said, well, if you're going to be a delegate, I'm going to run for Congress. But the reality was I was so fed up with Kelly Armstrong's performance in Congress. He wouldn't touch any single issue that was hard. And he called everything a third rail. And it was just too hard for him to do. That doesn't cut it for me. And on top of that, I had asked him multiple times in writing to help me with veterans issues, and he just never answered. Finally, he put some legal assistant and answered a question, and they answered it wrong, and I corrected them. And at that point, I said, I'm just going to have to run against this guy. Little did I know that he had initiated the Ascension Plan, which is he had negotiated that he would run for governor, and he would allow Campbell to run for the congressional seat. Because Campbell wanted to run for governor, and then of course it all flipped, and Fedorchak was allowed to put in there as the Ascension Plan, and that's basically basically one of the reasons why I ran was to crack the Ascension Plan, which is they put people in office, they appoint them to the PSC, and they let them sit there, or they appoint them elsewhere, like they did with the school guy. And then they say, oh, look at this person. They're wonderful. They're a public servant here, and they're working over here, and they're really not doing anything. They have no experience. And to that point, there's a major radio host in North Dakota, which I will not name, who said very clearly, he said, it's all about money. He said, I simply didn't raise enough money. It doesn't matter about experience or how good you'd be at the job. You didn't raise enough money. And I say to North Dakotans, that kind of attitude is wrong for North Dakota. It's almost an insult to North Dakotans in that if you've got enough money, you can buy any seat you want. Well, Kelly clearly did that this time. And
almost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Almost an insult.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. It is an insult. Yeah. And, I saw all this going on. I said, I want to run for multiple reasons. But one is because we're so blessed. I mean, we're here in North Dakota. We got a great family, grandkids. We've got everything going for us. And I really felt like we had served before, but we needed to give back because we have a lot of freedoms that I feel like I could re-earn every single day, and I wanted to serve. And I think the Congress is a good place to serve. I think that a lot of people ask me why I didn't run for something else like a commissioner or legislature here in North Dakota. And I think the real answer is I think that I'm better suited for the congressional seat in Washington. There are great people suited for these seats in North Dakota, no question at all. They have much more experience on the ground here than I do. And I've talked to a lot of them, but I think I'd be better at it. And of course, the other piece is to break that Ascension Plan. So let me tell you a little about Ascension. The Ascension Plan says, let's just use Burgum or Kelly. They just decide who's going to be in a seat. They put Julie in a PSC seat, and they say eventually we're going to move you up, or they don't move him up, or they do take care of him or whatever else. But at the same time, they condition the electorate to accept the Ascension Plan. So even conservatives who I know that are good conservatives said to me, well, why don't you go do that? And then you could prove to us you'd be there. So they start to buy into that idea that you have to do whatever the elitists, whatever the incumbents want you to do, which is fill another post first for a few years. And meanwhile, that's also used as a screening method for those people to see if you'll do what they want you to do. So I say this to North Dakotans out there because I'm talking to the 7 out of 10 that didn't vote for me. It's okay that you chose somebody else, but just remember that maybe you made that choice because of a lot of conditioning over time. Because when people say to me, you know, Julie didn't do anything wrong, that's not a reason to vote for someone. Yep. And that tells me that they're voting because, well, they're kind of used to it, you know?
Yeah, I didn't know that there was a specific name for it. But when I saw folks like Kirsten Baszler, you know, just get a, and I'm like, wait, what's going on here? You know, that's what. So how does it feel? Like you got grassroots folks like me, like Matthew Simon, and I'm not putting myself in Matthew Simon's shoes. Those are massive shoes. He's a big boy, but you got the folks on the ground, the grassroots, the guys and gals that actually do the work, go to the convention, you know, the whole thing, all of the things that we're supposed to do have been doing since I've been in North Dakota politics. Yep. And then we get there, and then you got our candidates that we pick, and then you get the candidates that, you know, our dear leader picked.
Yep.
And they all win. How does that grab you?
I tell you what, it's a super hard thing, and I talked to a lot of people about it who are super disheartened. I mean, they're literally like, why even do this? Why even try anymore? Because it's clear that money can buy whatever they want, and the elitists can run whatever they want. But that's not how America works, and that's not how North Dakota is going to work. So I would say to people, yes, yeah, they made their play and they threw money at it. Julie threw close to $1 million at ad campaigns and stuff, and they got their vote. But this is the crack. I mean, this is the crack in the armor. Our mission hasn't changed, and we've got a good percentage of people in conservatives showed up. So I said this the other day. I was talking to Michael. You know, if you were there at these district meetings where people got together, and in cold weather, right, and it was rough winter, right, and they said a prayer, they said the Pledge of Allegiance, they took their votes, they got their delegates together, they raised money, they held a convention, and they can say what they want. It was a great convention. It really was. Yeah. And the reality is that that's the mainstream. They can call us what they want. They can call us far right or whatever, but that's the mainstream people that did exactly what they're supposed to do in North Dakota for representation. Each district representing 15 or 16,000 people. And then the fringe, the very small liberal conservative fringe, the incumbent elitists all got together and said, we're going to stay out. That's the fringe. So when they come to us and they call us pocket gophers, which I could go into, or call us terrorists, or call all these other names, I say, you know, look, kids do that too. Yeah. If you're immature and you got a lot of money, you can do anything you want to do. And then you run home and hide behind mommy's skirts and daddy's money. I get it, okay? You can be as insulting as you want, but I'm not going to respond to those insults because it's not worth my time. I don't argue with kids. I don't argue with my lab, you know, my golden retriever, my yellow lab. So the bottom line is,
I was going to say, you didn't bring $1 million to the table, but you did bring experience, calluses, and the lab. And to me,
there you go. You know, and I think that's important. I think that the work was important. 30,000 miles, a lot of time, and we got a lot of response from that. And I tell everybody out there who's a diehard conservative and wants better for North Dakota, you just got to hang in there. You know, we're not quitting on this. Yeah, it was hard. I mean, I met people in Fargo, great conservatives, you know, if you know those folks down there, across the state, Williston, Dickinson, small towns, Tioga, I mean, all over the place, that just really worked hard on this, super hard. And it's not supposed to be easy to lose. You know, I used to say to my grandson, you know, I don't want you to be a good loser because you get good at losing. I want you to be respectful, and it's okay to take the loss, but you shouldn't get good at it and you shouldn't like it. Okay. It should taste bad. So yeah, it's not great, but you're going to take a loss. I was up against a big deal, but I'll say this to everybody out there. You got to do it differently. We got to raise more money. They can raise money. So can we raise money. So we've got conservatives out there that just stood on the fence. They said things like, we're going to donate to the conservative cause after the primary. Well, after the primary, guess what? It's done. So we've got some education to do. Somebody asked me, like, why did it not work? Why didn't you get more votes? And I don't know the exact answer yet. And that person said very fairly to me, but isn't it your job to know? And they're right. It is. So I formed a committee now. I've got some folks working with me, and I'll welcome any advice from anybody out there. And we're going to put it together and work for a year hard. So when we come in this time, we're going to be heavy with money, and we'll be able to challenge. But be ready for this now. I think Fedorchak's going to step up to Senate because Hovind's going to give it to her. And Kelly's going to use the Ascension Plan and stick somebody like Gallion or the Secretary of State in for the Congress. So now we got 3 things to run against. We got the governor's office, we got the congressional seat, and the Senate.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm going to bookmark that. And I might even go into Poly Markets and make a bracket or something.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Because they don't want Julie to run every 2 years because she'll fail eventually. I mean, she won't debate. She can't talk to anybody. She can't hold meetings. She doesn't do anything in Washington. We're going to talk about some of the things that are going on in a bit, right, about what they're doing, just to highlight them. But it's insulting. It is. I'm going to call it insulting because they think we're stupid.
Yeah. To me, I see all of the photo ops and the social media posts, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't come out and shake people's hand and answer tough questions. Yeah. So these are easy things that you're doing, and it plays great. And in North Dakota, I'm sorry, I'm going to take 2 seconds here.
Yeah, go ahead, go. Yeah.
In North Dakota, I wouldn't think that the whole social media 2-second goldfish type attention span would work. Like the people that I meet, the people that I talk to, and like Michael and Bob and Dan and all of these guys, their attention spans are much larger. But apparently, and maybe maybe I need to expand my circle out a bit. But apparently, the thing that she's doing worked because, in a lot of places we didn't show up, and their people did.
Yeah, I think one of the things is that people get comfortable, and they're comfortable they know where somebody went to high school, they know something's going on, and they also don't realize the impact of governance. Yeah. Like, they don't understand what's happening in Bismarck. They don't understand that these folks are trying to do things and not even consulting the electorate on them. And that's hurt, and that hurts us because we're supposed to be the ones running it. Here's a good indication. Kelly said the other day, and I love bringing it up because it's such a kid remark. He said, I crawled out from under a rock every 2 years and told him how to do his job. Well, I wouldn't have to tell him how to do his job if he'd do it, first of all. And the second piece of that is our job as the voters to tell the politicians how to do their jobs. Now, I know Kelly forgot that because he's always been, Prince Kelly. I get it. But, and that's the hubris. That's the hubris that comes along with that. But for North Dakotans, they forget too that the federal government can easily run a state. And what Julie's doing is doing that. And we'll talk about some of the stuff she's pushing through that is actually really affecting North Dakota. And everyone acts like, oh, it doesn't matter. We're separate from all that stuff,
Ari, let's talk about that.
Okay. Yeah. Let's jump into no foreign ownership first of all. Okay. We're right in the cusp of I forget the name of the gentleman from Missouri who put a bill in. There's been many bills floating around for no foreign ownership. I'll admit that. But there's a recent one in from Missouri. Guys, really good, strong conservative. They could jump on that. They could co-sponsor it, or Julie could just write her own bill and say no foreign ownership, period, of anything critical, any farmland, no critical infrastructure. You can't own it. And if you already own it, guess what? You're gonna have to find a proxy to be your owner, or we'll just take it from you. Has it ever happened before? Yes, it has. And if you look around the world, we can't own land somewhere else. So it's gotten ridiculous. So there's a first step to our sovereignty as a state and as a nation, right? No foreign ownership. Oh. And I see, in North Dakota, if you want to have farming stay the way it is and oil stay the way it is, you've got to get foreign ownership out of here. I mean, you have to. Yeah. And you got to be aware of it, not just play at it and say, oh, we'll get to it when the city commission figures it out,
Let's talk about veterans issues.
Okay. Yep.
So, how is your approach going to be different? I know we spoke briefly
Yeah.
on you trying to get Armstrong's ear about the veterans
Yeah.
issue, and you pretty much got the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
What is your approach?
Yeah, so I don't have a cheerleader outfit for the Veterans Administration, first of all,
Oh.
because sadly they have made marked improvements, and that's great. I'm super happy they've done that, and they need to improve. But I can tell you story after story of vets that are underserved and not being served. So, for example, I meet with a group of vets over in Minot, and there's about maybe as many as 14 when they get everybody together. And there's 2 people there that can tell you good stories about the VA. And I'm not going to mention any names, but one of them is gravely ill, and he just gets treated by the VA. And so I guess every day is a good day for him because he's pretty positive. But the reality is I can tell you more horror stories than I can tell you good stories. And the VA needs to be hammered into reform. And the second piece of that is the first thing we need to do, and this needs to be a congressional, a bill has to be put in, is they need to convert every single veteran over 50% disability into 100%. Let me explain why. Because once you're at 50%, you're already into the VA status of getting some pay that's not taxed, and you get 2 separate checks from your Army disability or from your Army pay and the VA pay. But that last piece can take you years to get from 50 or 60 or 70% to 100. Now, what that does is it backlogs everything. We're talking 3 or 4 years right now is the wait period. So are they waiting for the vets to die, or what's going on? And they're going to say, well, we have to do it. We have to adjudicate it. We have to figure this out. And I do not agree that every single vet out there is trying to rip off the system. So I say, stop all the administrative cost, convert them all into 100% tomorrow. It's not that much money, guys. If you look what like an E7 or E6 or an O2 makes in disability. And then they're going to get that money. Yes, it's going to be without taxes, but let me tell you what's going to happen. It takes all the burden of that administrative garbage out of the VA, and they can focus on the veterans that they're dealing with, because there's a ton of this administrative garbage. And there are hundreds of clinics that are contracted out to look at these vets and do appointments. I went through a series of them that are just wasting money because you're just going back and back for appointments. So that's the first thing I'd do. But you're not going to get a non-veteran to understand that. They're going to do things like, oh, we did a fluffy thing for the vets today, and we gave them a little more money, or we did a little more here, or we let them do a teleconference. Well, you know what? I talked to a lot of vets. That's not the way to solve this, okay? Yeah. And the bottom line is I start there. And then I would turn and anybody can say this. It's really easy, but veterans know how to turn the VA around. Now, there's some veterans working on it hard right now. I'll give them kudos for that, but they need everybody working on it. And you're going to have to get rid of, and you won't be the first time you hear me say this, you're going to have to get rid of the senior executive service in the VA. That is people above GS-15. They need to go, because GS-15s can handle this. GS-14s can handle this. We don't need them there. I'll take their money and I'll give it to vets. So I can get into that all. But remember, an SES, Senior Executive Service, makes around $206,000 a year. Okay? And there's almost 10,000 in the government. I don't know how many in the VA. I can look it up for you, but there's a bunch, and they got to go. Sorry, guys. If you want to serve the soldiers, you can do it at a GS-15 level. You don't need to be up at a senior level if you really want service. That's my opinion. So that would be a difference right there.
It gets me whenever I hear folks talk about, oh, we don't have the money for vets, we don't have this and that. I always point to Minnesota.
Oh yeah, yeah.
20 billion.
Yep.
I mean, what are we doing?
Let's go further than that. Biden took money from the VA to give to illegals. And that was okay with everybody. No one complains about that from the VA. Yeah. So
that's insane.
Yeah, it is insane. Yeah. And on top of that, if they just listen to vets, they'd get more of it done. But they've got guys up there who are some vets and some just administrators who don't know. They just apply a program to it and they say this will work just fine. It's not the way to do it. Sorry. And they can get as critical as they want, but I get to say this stuff. So,
Man, we're going to have another, like the hour is gone. So we're going to have to do this again. But I want to ask you, like, your plans going forward.
Yeah.
What are your plans? I've heard some scuttlebutt, but just.
Well, I'm definitely planning on going forward. I'm going to go to work. I got to work and earn some money back. I got debts to pay off from the campaign. I'll be around. I'll be working contract for the government because that's where my skills are. But the bottom line is we'll be back and forth. I'll be here for hunting, clearly, and be going back and forth. My wife will be around. We'll both be here. We got the kids right now at the farm. Quickly, I will say I'm going to stay really engaged on this Trust Lands Completion Act. So everybody out there listening, go to GovTrack and look at Julie's bill where they're going to get this land and take it from you, okay? And go down about 20 pages. Bills are written for the future. And in there, you'll see where they're talking about valuing the land at $500 an acre. And what I'm saying to you is if you can buy land for $500 an acre in North Dakota, you go do that. They write that in there because that's their plan. So Trust Lands Completion Act, please go look at it. We'll talk a bunch more about it. It's a bad thing for North Dakota. And we can get into it really in depth, but they're pushing that through because they're going to get wealthy off it. As for me, we're starting with a committee on how to raise funds. We need big donors, and we know that, okay? So we're going to have to do that before we step in next time. So we don't have to hem and haw about doing commercials and things. We need to get the press out better for people so you know the policy stuff. And we got to force them to the table, which means we have to be in the general election, which means at some point we need the lawsuit, which I support, to take the R. If they're not going to pay their dues, they still haven't paid their dues, and they're running on the R. So we can talk about that later too. But the reality is,
Kelly Armstrong says that this isn't the Yellowstone.
Yeah, right.
You can't cut the R off people.
Yeah, I think actually we could, but let they leave that for another show. And the bottom line is that if you don't pay your dues, you didn't show up. Okay, you quit. Okay, that's the bottom line. So you got 9 or 10 quitters running for office again, and everybody's going to vote for them again. Yeah. So the plan is to, if you're talking about us, the conservatives, is to find somebody to run against each of these incumbents right now. They're not elected yet. They can be challenged. We're going to run again against them, and we need to put up people, and we need good people out there. So stay tuned to us, okay? Stay in it. I know you're busy with the summer and the rest, but don't give up hope and heart on this because, a couple hits to the chin, we're not anywhere near done.
100%. I've seen. My son is a Thai boxer, a mixed martial artist, and the first couple times, he didn't win. I'm like, dude, you got to learn from it. You're tougher than that. Yeah, pick your chin up, get in there, train a little harder, and he's been on a streak now. So you got to get back in there. You got to get back on that horse. Whatever phrase, like Sly Stallone said, you get hit, you get back up, because that's how winning is done. You remember that?
That's exactly right. And I tell everybody, pick whatever motivates you, whatever saying you got to have to do it. Yeah. But the bottom line is, I still believe that our rights come from God, not government. And I believe that if we stay with it, if we keep the faith, we can turn this. It's not. Yeah, it wasn't pleasant. Trust me. Everyone hates what happened, okay? Who's got a mind and cares about North Dakota. But the reality is we need to get the other people that didn't vote our way to at least talk with us and come to the table, because we can make a better government. We can make a better North Dakota. We can be better civil servants.
Yeah. Alex, this will not be the last time, I promise you. Oh, one other question.
Yeah.
We are the guns and the 701. So, your opinion on constitutional issues like the Second Amendment.
Yep.
What are your thoughts?
Bottom line is shall not be infringed. That's it. I mean, that's the Second Amendment. You can't touch it. I don't want to hear any laws about it. If you want to do laws, you enforce the laws that we got, and you enforce it on criminals. But guns aren't the bad actor here, and that's what the bottom line for me. So come, if you're ever up visiting the place, we'll go out and shoot sometime.
100%. I was going to say, do you do any bow hunting?
I do. I'm hunting with a longbow this year, so it's a little challenging. I'll be honest, but I can still pull a 50-pound longbow, and one of these deer is going to get in my way one of these years.
100%. We got to get you out this way. Like, we got a herd about 50, maybe 75 that run that shelter belt. There's a shelter belt about, I don't know, a quarter mile. Like, I can sit right here and I can look at it.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Every evening they move down that shelter belt. I got like 100 deer bed in that northeast pasture over there. Yeah. So we can do some things.
They got to get in the freezer.
Yep, 100%. Anyway, man,
really
it's been great chopping it up with you. This will not be the last time. Again, I was a fan before, anybody was like Alex Balazs. Like I said, I met you. I don't know if you remember it, but I met you and I shook your hand, talked to you for 5 minutes, and I said, that's the guy, and I voted for you. So
I appreciate that, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And your
thanks to
wife,
everybody out there, and keep the faith, guys. We're going to keep working at it.
your wife is awesome. I might have talked to her a little longer than I talked to you because you were busy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
man, it's great to have you on. I'm going to talk to Clay. I know Clay loves you. So
Clay's great. He's great.
Yeah. Good guy. So Alex Balazs, when we come back, I'm going to wrap this up with the Feel Good Friday, give you my 2 cents on the whole AI thing, close out this show. Alex, again, thank you for coming on. We'll be right back right
Thanks,
after this break.
Thanks.
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at LAUER Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with LAUER, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. LAUER Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at LAUER Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's LAUER Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just 1 block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon, Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
For the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul's, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
Welcome back, welcome back. Leon Francis, Guns in the 701. This is BlackBeardLogic, and that was Alex Balazs. I like the guy. I liked him since the day I met him. I had never seen him before. And all I did was shake his hand and talk to him for 5 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, this is the guy. And from that point, and I had good friends of mine saying, no, he's this, he's that, and I got the measure of the man within 5 minutes. I like him. And I think he's got a good head on his shoulder, and he's got the experience to back that up. I think he has pardon the pun, a can-do resolve that's going to see him far. And I don't think it matters the money that's being thrown around, against folks like him, I think in the end, he's going to win out. So we're going to wrap the show up. Right now, I'm just going to go. I have to do this, and I also have a Christ OS that I'm going to be narrating here in the very near future. Probably, I'll probably do it this weekend. I should have a little time. But I just want a little bit about AI. We're going to be talking about this on the Due North Political Podcast on Tuesday. But I just want to say this before we get to the Feel Good Friday. Like, I've been thinking about this for some time now. Ever since the whole AI thing came up, and I heard Joe Rogan say something idiotic like, what did he say? It'll become sentient or something to that effect. It's gonna become alive. You can't do that without a soul. So that was stupid. But I've been thinking about it for a minute now, and like right now, you look at AI, and it's like you got a whole team of specialists on speed dial. Basically, you just got to know the right questions to ask, and that's powerful enough. But the jump to its very real, continual self improvement, that's a real thing, and that's the part that changes the game completely. Because when AI can rewrite its own code, redesign its own internal architecture, and get smarter and smarter without us being in the loop, we're talking about something that can move faster than any human institution can react. A couple of years is aggressive, but even if it's 5 or 10 years, the curve gets real steep real quick once that loop starts. So, the limiting principle thing is the core of it for a guy like me. Like, we operate with a shared sense of right and wrong, like a eternal line that we don't cross even when we can. That moral floor keeps the power from turning into pure self-interest or domination. You take that floor away and hand the same or greater capability to governments or corporations or individuals who only see leverage and control, that should scare the hell out of anybody paying attention. History shows us what happens when new forms of power land in the hands of people without restraint. And it rarely ends well for the average Joe. I mean, even with our own limiting principles, it's already tempting sometimes to push the edge. Imagine that AI can generate perfect propaganda, crack systems in seconds, design weapons, manipulate economies at scale, all while convincing you that it's helping. I mean, we saw that cop. You know, the data doesn't make mistakes. The internet is infallible. It doesn't make mistakes. It's basically what he said. Without a strong internal, we don't do that code, most people or organizations will rationalize their way into using anything. And once it's out there, you can't put that genie back. And there are a ton of concerns. And I kudos to the people that are out there that are talking about this. But I'm going to tell you what my biggest concerns are. Outside of and my Christ OS will address this one. My biggest concern is the Daniel prophecy. But we're going to talk about that. But right now, my biggest concerns are power concentration without accountability. Like, whoever gets there first or controls the compute and the models gets god-like leverage over information, economies, even physical systems. Governments especially worry me because they already have the monopoly on force. Adding super intelligence on top of that supercharges the worst impulses. And then you have misalignment at scale. So even if the people who are building it have good intentions, once it starts self-improving, we may not fully understand what it's optimizing for anymore. The gap between what we think we ask for and what it actually pursues could be catastrophic, and we won't have a way to pull it back. And then you have proliferation to bad actors. The tech will leak. Mark my words. There is no secure system, period. It will leak. It'll get stolen. It'll get openly sold. Authoritarian regimes, terrorists, or just ruthless opportunists won't be held back by limiting principles. They'll use it to consolidate power, suppress dissent, or worse. We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw what happened during COVID. Enough said. And then there's the awareness gap. Too many people are still treating this like a fancy autocomplete or a fun productivity tool. They see the upside, which is real and huge and comfortable. But they haven't internalized how fast the downside can arrive once self-improvement kicks in. And by the time the average person feels the shift, it might be already too late to steer this thing. And it's like I said with the flock systems and the cameras. And once that's powered by AI, look out. Like you could sit home right now and go, well, it's just a bunch of cameras. It's just a flock system. It's just a data system. But as I said to you, when I was at UPS, you build the entire working network one piece at a time. And then you get the system. And the system doesn't miss. I'm not a full doomer. I'm not. There's upsides to AI and data centers and all of that. You got medicine, you got science, you got poverty, exploration. Like the upsides are enormous if we get this right. But getting it right requires the same kind of moral seriousness some of us try to live by, but applied at a civilizational scale. That means real thought about who should have access. Hard limits that we build in, technical and legal. And how we keep the technology from becoming just another tool for the powerful to stay powerful. The bottom line is the technology itself is not the enemy. It's the absence of limiting principles in the hands of the people that are wielding it. And they've already shown us their hand. If you are a data center and you tell the city government they have to sign an NDA before you start building, that's a problem. That's a problem. If you are a politician and you're calling your constituents knuckle-dragging troglodytes because we're not rah-rah on board for these data centers, you're a problem. That means you can't be trusted with this power. You can't. If you have your minions go out there and tell us that cooling won't be a problem, you're a liar. It will be. I'm telling you this as an IT guy. As a network engineer, I'm telling you, cooling will be a problem. Water will be a problem. Electricity will be a problem. Environmental impacts will be a problem. The noise have you ever been in a server room? If you work at any company that's a decent scale, go into the MDF. Just open the door and tell me how it sounds. Tell me how it feels. Go stand next to the servers. Go stand next to the switches. Tell me what you feel. Tell me what you hear. Now times that times a million. with a massive data center. You don't think the people in that neighborhood are going to be negatively affected. You're a liar if you say that. That is an impossibility. You're going to have environmental impacts. You're going to have health impacts to your neighbors. There is a lot to talk about. And the fact that they did this without talking to us first, without getting any input, and I saw they put some crappy little commission together to talk. Trust me, guys, that commission is going to soft shoe everything. They're going to lie to you. They're going to make you feel like you're dumb. That little commission that they put together is garbage. And again, I am a IT guy. I'm a tech guy. I'm a techie and a Trekkie. I long for the days I can go, beam me up, Scotty, and just touch my lapel here, and then, you know, Lieutenant Uhura, like, beams me up. Or, like, I wouldn't be in this industry if I wasn't that big a geek, and I am. I love tech, but I'm also wary. And when it gets to this level, when people are trying to sneak it in, then your intentions are already well known to guys like me. You don't have to sneak it in if it's all above board. And again, once this stuff is implemented, you should watch the video of Elon Musk attempting to shoot down a drone. Like, I know we're all gun guys, and we're like, well, if I see one of them flying over him, it's not that easy. And with AI, forget about it. With your smart homes, forget about it. With your smart cars, forget about it. With your smart grids, forget about it. This thing needs to be broken in its tracks, and we need to at least have a rational conversation about going forward. There should be hard stopgaps, legally and in the tech space. That has to happen. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with this. This is my Feel Good Friday video. Here, let's go ahead and pop this bad boy up. Feel Good Friday. Boom. I'm going to leave you with this. This is my son Eli on Independence Day. And this video, man, and you got to understand, he had 2 of these. So it's like 375, almost 400 shots. So what you see is one, and at the very end, I had like just sped up the second canister that we shot off. It is awesome. I'm Leon Francis, Guns in the 701. This is BlackBeardLogic. God bless. Good night. This is the Feel Good video of the night.
Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay. No. Say hello to my little friend.
That thing is insane. Thanks. What? That is insane.
Okay, Colonna.
Say hello to my little friend. Keep it pointed up.
Good night. God bless.